You're listening to the Tumbling Saber Podcast, a member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network. Check us out on the web at starwarscommonwealth.com, on iTunes, Facebook, and Twitter, and take your first step into a larger world.
You've passed the first test. Once we begin, there's no turning back. Got it? Follow my lead. Let's go.
Hello gang, welcome back to Bridger Transmissions, where this week we are going to discuss the occupation and flight of the Defender. My name's Kyle.
My name's Corey.
And I'm Em.
Welcome back everybody. And happy Halloween.
Boo.
Alright, well before we start breaking down the latest Rebels episodes, I wanted to just talk about this poll I ran last week, which set Em off.
Oh yeah. You're really lucky right now. I don't yell and really just give you the beat down, but because you are Kyle and you are the best of the Canadians, I won't chop your head off.
Well, I just asked the question, you know?
No, not just the question. You know how much he means to me as a character. How dare you? That's betrayal.
So for those who don't know, I ran a poll last week on Twitter, and the question was, should one of our heroes turn to the dark side permanently, who would you prefer it to be? And so the three options were Rey, Ezra, and Luke. And wouldn't you know it, Em's boy Ezra ran away with this poll. 58% chose Ezra to turn to the dark side permanently. Wow.
I'm kind of on the same side of M, in the sense that this question, it's like apples and oranges, really. You know what I mean? It's the saga, the films versus, of course, no one wants to see Luke turn. No one really wants to see Rey turn, and no one really wants to see Ezra turn either. So you're really choosing the lesser of evils here, and
that's what I'm asking people to do. Nobody wants them to turn. Well, you know, there are some people that do want any of those three to turn. But
it's more. It almost seems like a question of who do you like more between these characters? Really, that's what it's boiling down to.
Well, no, it also could be. I think this person turning could be the most compelling, or makes the most sense, or there's any range of reasons why. There's no place to put your reasoning. Nobody really replied with their reasoning, but.
Well, I think we all knew Ezra was going to eat it on that one.
Yeah, and then someone said to Corey, with his evil sidekick Chopper.
That's ads. He's a big part of the show. He's a good dude.
One of the greats.
What I want to know is, what is up with those Lost Wolves?
Well, we'll get there. I still want to talk about this poll because I like the Discord. I like the Discord this thing has reaped.
You like getting me going, don't you?
Sure, why not?
Did you have to set the timer to figure out how long it would take me to, M and her upsetness of me putting Ezra on that poll? Did you actually time it?
Well, see, I wasn't actually trolling you. I was honestly asking the question.
You were trolling me.
It's not all about you. Come on.
Oh, the kid of the transmissions is always going to get the bullet.
Hey, but you know what? Ezra on the dark side. Maybe that ensures his survival. If he stays on the light side, he probably won't make it.
Excuse me? You're really pushing it.
But interesting, though, that Rey and Luke both pulled 21%. Interesting that those two pulled into a dead heat.
You just don't touch Luke, okay? Luke, he's been there forever. So I immediately put him to the side. So it was between Ezra and Rey. And I know Rey's a female, she's my gender, but you know what? I find out I'm more invested into Ezra because we've had more of Ezra, right?
Absolutely.
So
you could probably argue we've had more of Ezra over Luke when you put it down to pure screen time.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's a given. He's been in every episode.
Well, and I think Mark Hamill will be really upset with you if he came on top. I think he personally would have something to say.
What, bringing up a beef with Rian Johnson about his character?
Maybe.
Hey, it would be probably my crowning achievement as a podcaster if Mark Hamill took me to task over a question that I asked. You know, I didn't make these 112 votes. I love it when a poll gets people really like riled up. Like Corey, we did a poll a while ago, and Corey was just irate over it. He just could not accept the results. It was amazing. I don't know how long ago that was, but if I find the clip, I will send it to you because it just went on and on about Corey just could not accept and was going so far as to say that people don't know how to read.
I still don't accept.
That's amazing. And then we made fun of him, saying, "You know what? Donald Trump said he wouldn't accept the results of the election should he lose." So you said, Corey and Trump, two peas in a pod there. Let's talk about the occupation here. So the first thing I want to say about this episode is, while we have a bunch of things to talk about, I'm so glad that this episode was aired the same night as Flight of the Defender, or I would have been really nonplussed, unimpressed, I would say. So Corey, let's get you talking over there. What was your first impressions of the occupation?
Well, I loved it.
Well, I'm shocked.
Well, I mean, again, it's one of those things where there's so many things happening at once that I don't know. And what's not to love about this episode? It was so Star Wars to me. Like, again, just being on Yavin 4 at the beginning, that planet or that moon is really hitting it for me, man. Like, every time we're there, it's just like, I don't know. I'm just feeling the Star Wars, The episode's just super Ezra heavy, like starting with him having those visions of Lothal, and he's suffering, man. Like, he's hurting bad on the inside. He knows he needs to do something, and luckily he gets his chance. Mon Mothma says, the TIE Defender program, we got some intel. We need a team. The Ghost is the team to get this job done. And strangely enough, she tells him, there's no extraction here. Like, you guys this can be like no Ghost. You guys go in. You're going to have to get out on your own. You're on your own. And Ezra kind of says something bold where he's like, I've thought about this a long time and I'm not leaving till the job's done, kind of. So at least till the end of the first couple more episodes, or the end of the first half of the season, we might stay on Lothal. We might even stay here all season. I don't know.
It looks like we're there for a good stretch here. And what were your early takeaways?
Oh, I don't even know where to begin because, the animation and the voice acting and the character arc build-up has been phenomenal from even beginning of season 4. In how we see Ezra develop more into his character arc, it's just the storytelling is so deep. And the animation, you just see the breakdown now of Lothal. From season 1 to season 4, it's now a complete barren wasteland to me.
Yeah, I think what they've done here is a really good representation of all the stuff we've been reading about in the new novels, a little bit in Rogue One. Just we've seen Lothal go from this almost like a virgin planet into this wasteland, like you said, Em. It's been completely ravaged by the Empire. We got bits and pieces of that through Catalyst, and in the Ahsoka novel touched on it with Ilum. But
this episode reminds me of this one particular song of my favorite band, Imagine Dragons, and the song called Radiating Fire. And it just the rebellion is now even more pushed to, defeat the Empire. So we all know that they really take the formation of the rebellion in Rogue One. So something has to happen dramatically within these. Well, we're now down to what, 10 episodes?
About that, yeah. We're 6
9.
down.
9.
Yeah, 10 episodes left. So these next 10 episodes are going to be a huge. Mind you, I think there will be a break, but these 10 episodes will be a huge dramatic event that ends up, making the rebellion hesitant of going back to war.
Well, you just like you just kind of said, like the next 10 episodes, we still have so much to get through here, and the first 6 have just the ball just got rolling and it's going with a lot of momentum. Like the pace is like breakneck right now when we're watching this stuff. Like the storytelling, like you said, is incredible. The animation is so on point as well. And one thing I want to say about that is that I was thinking about this prior to this season and even at the beginning of the season, but this episode, it really struck me a lot more in the sense that I look at Ezra now and I could see how much he's really aged physically, where that was kind of like lacking for me a bit before. Like I want to stop looking at him as a kid. And in this episode, I looked at him very much as an older, an older teenager, like a young man. He was looking at too physically like this. The changes are so subtle in the animation, and we've looked at his face for so long now that it's hard to notice what they've done. But like, look at his buddy there,
Jai Kel. Oh my God, he was just speaking from a young girl. I think he's pretty darn hot. Because look at his hair for one. That hair and his height too. Ah, he's a dream.
Well, you didn't enjoy his clean-cut Imperial look?
No.
He had Bieber hair with the Empire. Like young Bieber hair.
Now he's got Imagine Dragons hair.
It. No, he doesn't have Imagine Dragon hair. What?
Anyway.
Oh my God.
I'm just happy they brought him back into this. Like, it's really interesting that they did that. Like, I hope there's more for his character when they do their stint on Lothal. I hope he comes back because, I mean, he's Force sensitive too, right? Like, they said that earlier on in season 1 or 2.
Is he?
Yeah. That's why they got him out of there. That's why they broke him out of the Imperial Academy. He was being hunted.
He showed the signs. I don't think he's Force sensitive.
I don't think he's Jedi material or whatever, but he could have been Inquisitor material. You know, like there's something about the Inquisitors that aren't so much. They're not able to really attain that next level of Sithdom or Jedidom or whatever that makes them a big threat. So, like, I don't know. Maybe they were throwing him into a special program anyhow.
Oh, there's nothing about him in the data bank that would point to that. Maybe they're bearing that aspect of his character for now. Or maybe there's something on Wikipedia. I'm not going to look right now.
It was in the training. That's what they were like. That's what the training was about, to like let these like Ezra and them like the cream rise to the top, so they can be like, okay, these kids, there's something a little abnormal about them. Let's get them closer under the microscope.
And it's funny how you mentioned season 1 and breaking ranks, because when Cal went up to Ezra, he was calling him Oleg, and if you remember who Oleg is. Yeah, remember that cadet that was almost compromised Ezra's...
Yeah, the meanie?
Yeah. Big bully. And it's funny how he called him Oleg. It just, callbacks from season 1, too. Even with the puffer pigs also.
Yeah, the puffer pigs.
Yeah, I was awesome when I saw them. I was like, nice. And Vizago really wanted to get his hands on those as well. It just makes me wonder what exactly Calrissian and himself are looking for on Lothal. Supposedly Calrissian did really well for himself. So, I don't know.
Which is one pig. So Vizago could have had all those pigs and made money. And I like how Zev's like, I'm going to use my useful face.
Yeah, that was awesome. I loved a lot of the comedy in this episode. Again, like just before they get into Vizago's ship and he takes them across the Imperial checkpoint or whatever to get onto Lothal because it's like locked down. Just Kallus and Rex, their exchange there was really unique, really funny, and I was kind of impressed that when Rex was like kind of like out of the captain's seat, it's me, and Kallus like presented an argument, and Rex was just like said like no, like, and then Kallus was just
your point's made.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
Who was Hera talking to? Who did she put in charge?
I'm pretty sure she put Rex.
You think?
I mean, Kallus is hot, but he wasn't really effective with those Star Destroyers, so...
I really respected his maturity, though, in that situation where he was just like, you're right. Like, you moved right out of the captain. You got me. He's like, I'm out of the captain's chair. He's like...
Anyway, I got a question. I got my blind Kanan joke of the week. Why would Ezra ask Kanan what they've done to Lothal?
Because he's distraught, and he wants his comfort of his teacher, I'm pretty sure.
But Kanan can't see anything!
Well, he can sense it.
Yeah, he senses it. He feels it.
Come on, you're way out in orbit. You can't sense that. If Darth Vader can't sense Kenobi in orbit on Tatooine, then Kanan can't sense the surface of Lothal. Come on now. Let's not jump the shark. There's no shark
Okay,
jumping
Kyle's
lifts in
got
the
a
show.
point.
I don't know. Like they've really, if that's one problem you have with this show with him being blind, then
Get out of
'cause-
here.
because it to me his blindness has enhanced his Jedi ability.
Well, sure, but it doesn't. It's not. If he can sense what's happening on the planet's surface from way out there, come on, like he's nearing omnipotence.
Okay, time out. Time out. Okay, if these guys keep this up, I'm gonna need to get popcorn. Just sit down and listen to your just ramblings about whether or not Kanan can sense and feel.
He could probably
And
sense
see.
and feel those around him at least. In the least, he could feel him and Ezra have a really. He has a connection with everyone of the Ghost crew, especially Hera and Ezra in the least.
Well, of course, he can sense all that from the people around him. I'm talking about like you're still like hundreds of kilometers above the surface. Come on now.
Yeah, but Vader's the dark side. Come on, he could sense, but he doesn't have compassion for Obi-Wan anymore. So how can he sense that compassion from Obi-Wan from Tatooine?
Well, he eventually sensed it
I'm
later.
taking Corey's side. You're welcome, drunk uncle.
I think it's more like just the matter that Kanan kind of he's not stupid. He can kind of ascertain what's going on. Like Lethal's doesn't look great. It looks different than what he, like just Ezra kind of reaching out to him. Really,
Well, I know he's looking for some comfort from his master. That's why I called it Blind Kanan Joke of the Week.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all.
You two are very sensitive tonight.
Well, yes.
Ezra can't be
yes,
dark
we
and
are.
Kanan senses everything. Come on, man.
This is Star Wars. Anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. That's what life has taught me with Star Wars. So just don't get me started. Or I might have to hate on you more. I'm still upset with you with that poll. So,
Oh, you might not like my next one then.
excuse me. Did I hear that right?
TBD. Hey, so Hera is Hera a Sabine and Ezra shipper because she keeps putting them together.
Yes.
The mission keeps going off the rails a little bit, so but she keeps sticking them together, and I'm just wondering, like, is Hera waiting for this to happen too?
Yes,
no, I think,
please.
dude, like, come on, get real. Hera sees them like they're a great team together. Like they're an amazing duo together. I'm like, man, look at what they did in this episode. Like, as they mature, as they come into their own, everything that Sabine's been through recently and has Ezra as well in the past couple seasons, like they're really coming into their own now, and they can be a really powerful, effective duo, man. And they took charge in that mission. Like they took a huge risk, but
Sabine took the huge risk.
Yeah, she
silly.
got greedy.
She's-
She got greedy twice in these 2 episodes, and it almost cost them.
Yeah, she's the one who made the critical mistakes, I think, this time. But I like her initiative for the rebellion. She's thinking about for the rebellion.
Oh yeah,
Meanwhile,
I mean, she made some ambitious swipes, and luckily it didn't cost them, but it damn well nearly did.
And the interaction, the first real interaction between Ezra and Thrawn. Oh, I have to breathe because this is so funny. Like,
Well, yeah,
hi.
that
Fascinating.
that was hysterical.
yeah, I had this. I have that in my notes as well because he's just standing there, like really, absolutely, like honestly fascinated by Ezra Bridger. Like Ezra Bridger was kicking ass and taking names in that scene. Like for Thrawn to like study someone's culture and be like, wow, like this kid is fighting like a rabid animal for his planet and his people, man. Like, dude, Ezra was just killing it in that scene. Like just really taking cover and like just getting by on the skin of his teeth. It was
Well, you know what?
awesome,
I
man.
think that was probably the poorest example of stormtrooper aim I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Like they
that
were like
was.
6 feet away from him and still missing. It's like,
You
come
know,
on, guys.
I can easily get like an arrow into someone at that range. It's so easy. Sorry, my archer side's talking. And then Sabine, she's just, amused. She's watching Ezra get shot at. And then she finally
wait a
decides,
minute, did you two just jump all the way into Flight of the Defender?
yes.
Can we just
yes,
reel this
we did.
back to the occupation?
Oh, come on, they're all connected. Just go with the flow. Don't ruin it.
All right.
What,
They're all, well, from the occupation, it mentioned Flight of the Defender, and then boom. And then
Once
the
you
Ojo. Wait, sorry, Ojo.
yeah, that
so
kinda
mad.
sucks.
I was so mad. I was like, what? You kill Ojo?
I
How
would
dare you?
liked to have seen something more happen in that scene where, uh, what's his name? That pilot dude. What's his name?
Oh, here,
Scaris? Oh, no, I know who
no,
you're talking
Baron Valen Reuter.
Yeah, like if he was tending bar and telling Ezra this, like maybe a bottle could have like broken in the background or something. You know what I mean? Like to represent Ezra's anger, because he
Yeah,
was
and then
quite upset.
Sabine's, trying to keep him grounded from not getting caught or getting into trouble, right? So, like, you can see his fists curl, and Sabine's like, "Let's go," and grabs his arm. "Let's go."
But one thing I did notice, I've been talking lately about like chopper language, and I swear to God, I think he swore again in this episode.
You look
If you-
ridiculous.
Because there's one episode I'll send you a clip one time, Em. He definitely swears in one of the episodes, and
He definitely swears in Super Imperial Commandos back in season 3. He definitely swears.
I'll send you a clip of one thing. But when they're going through the tunnels and they see that Ryder Asadi has left Sabine's Phoenix symbol behind as a trail for them to follow and get out, right? Chopper is the one who sees it first, and I swear to God, he says "WTF." I won't say it, but he looks at it and he's like, like, I swear to God, that's the way I interpret it. But next time you watch it, go for it. Look at it from that
Yeah.
perspective.
It's Chopper, oh my goodness. I'm going to miss that droid a lot because he's just got that sense of humor that we haven't seen really. Even AP5 has that sense of humor too, where we haven't really seen it in other droids.
Yeah. Where is AP5, man?
I know, right?
Well, I think he's a case of, they don't have a lot of time, and so certain people are just going to have to get pushed to the background. Unfortunately, I mean, tough calls have to get made, and that's
Yeah,
That's
but
the
it
going
is.
to hurt
reality of it.
Steven Stanton. That's going to hurt him. How
Oh,
dare
he,
you?
He does
No,
like 25 voices every episode.
Yeah,
I-
but it's just so
I'm trying
busy.
to help him out here. I'm trying to help him with his U.S. Starlight and hashtag help kids. Don't throw him under the bus. We need one more AP5 moment.
There's just so much inventory. There's so much inventory on Yavin 4.
I mean,
He's
Yes.
content.
Yes.
Dave Filoni would be the first guy to tell you, and it's something he learned from George Lucas, that you've got so much to tell, there's so much you want to say, but you only have so much place to say it. You can't fit 10 pounds of story in a 5-pound bag, so certain things are going to get left behind. Here's something else that doesn't make sense. I'd like to see you explain your way out of this one. So we see in the scene right before Sabine and Ezra head into Old Joe's, a couple stormtroopers grab a couple citizens, say, "Hey, you're out past curfew. Let's see some ID." Nobody asked Ezra and Sabine to tell them that. Nobody stopped them to say, "Hey guys, it's past curfew. Let's see some ID."
Okay, but the stormtrooper then later talked to Chopper about the two. Okay, did you not catch that?
Oh, I saw that, but nobody down the bar was like, "Hey, it's curfew. It's done. You see anybody here? Like, we're all Imperials. Go home." Instead, Professor Von Buren, Martin Van Nostrand, whatever his name is ready to serve them up
Hey.
some drinks.
Hey, he looks pretty darn sharp in that jacket, and he's aged a bit since the last time we've seen him. We only saw him in season 1, and that short between Ezra and Baron. And I found that so funny that he didn't notice Ezra, but Ezra noticed him.
Yeah, for sure. You look
Come on.
familiar.
Now he's slinging drinks.
Yeah.
That's a demotion.
It's funny.
But again,
He didn't
nobody.
He didn't ask for ID either.
Exactly. No ID for their age. No ID because it's past curfew. That just kind of goes by the
It's
wayside.
Star Wars. It's Star Wars, please.
They're Imperials. They're bad guys. So like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay. Because Imperials are lax with the rules. Anyway, moving on. What I think the thing I like the most about this is that they really showed the proper way within a Star Wars framework of how to show a planet under occupation. Think back
Yes.
to the occupation of Naboo.
Oh, yeah.
There was nothing
That
there.
was,
That didn't look
well,
like
no, that was separatists. They were, restrained. Sidious wanted to keep himself, secret.
But still, I mean, you never got the sense that there was any sort of oppression or, this Seo Bilbo comes out and says, "Oh, death toll is catastrophic," and you didn't see anybody suffering. Not, there's no propaganda going on in Naboo. Like, just it looked like the same place before and after, before, during, and after. But this on Lothal is well done. The transition from before full-on occupation to now, it's just so stark.
And I was thinking about how Ezra was so vulnerable with his emotions, and I think Sabine caught on to that not because his emotions were vulnerable. I think because she sees the state of how Lothal's in. Because now it looks just like Sundari, if you think about it, without the cone formation of the rocks in Lothal, and now it's just complete, wasteland. It's plain. It's burnt to a crisp. Like, I'm pretty sure if you took those two planets, they would look identical.
Yeah, and this is the Empire's MO now. Just strip planets. What's that planet? Raeda in the Ahsoka novel.
Mm-hmm.
A total wasteland.
Yeah.
It is shocking to see, not only, well, for the viewer, like you guys said, like for us too, like Lothal, almost the whole first season almost took place on Lothal, right? Like we were back and forth, and throughout the whole series we're kind of back and forth, and the gradual occupation growing. But this time, like you said, Kyle, like it's full on occupation. Like you see the propaganda everywhere. Like, I don't know, it did kind of hit in the feels, like, and it's definitely, like M said, left our main hero extremely vulnerable, which is a reason why I believe Hera pairs the two together, because Sabine kind of can ground him, you know what I mean? She, like you said earlier, M, like he's getting upset over old Joe, and she kind of is like, she sees that, and she kind of is like, she's the one that, she's like his Betty to the Hulk, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. That does play well together. And when you think about Sabine, how she was getting a little bit unhinged about what was going on her planet.
And he was there for her.
And how you see the relationship keeps building and building and building. It keeps getting better, better, and better. So I hope high hopes for that.
You have high hopes, but I think some of the best relationships are the ones that never happen. You know what I mean? The ones that could have.
We'll just see it in canon, okay? We'll just see it in canon.
For that one time, maybe. It's almost like a Romeo and Juliet thing at this point. Like, you're gonna want it,
just not meant to be.
Exactly. It's like meant to be, but not meant to be.
Don't you dare!
All right, so let's wrap up the occupation here. So, I think one of the great things that Dave Filoni did here was showing sort of like that the sneaking around enemy territory thing. Like, it just. If you've ever read like spy novels, like something like The Spy Who Came in from the Cold, like John le Carré type stuff, I got a lot of that kind of imagery from this episode, and I really love that. But overall, I think that what really props this episode up is Ezra's reaction to seeing what's happening in his homeworld.
Yeah, like his resolve. By the end of the episode, like at a point he was beaten down, and he rose back up by the end. But yeah, definitely his maturity level and his resolve for me was a big part of this episode. And like you said, Kyle, too, like I almost felt I took it in a bit of a different way. Like when I watched it, I almost felt in a Halloween-y. It felt fallish on Lothal in that episode, and the way they were walking around at night and stuff. I don't know, like kind of got me like on edge a bit, like the creeping around.
And that loth cat chewing that piece of garbage.
Yeah,
I'm being serious.
Yeah, well, more on loth cats. I got something to say.
Oh, I love those things. I hope that they make more. I want them to make the kind that we saw in Flight of the Defender. They're just so cute.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
I'm
sold on them.
Did you guys feel like this episode was sort of maybe a grown-up version of Empire Day? With the stakes a little bit more raised, running around through the sewer systems and these underground piping systems, stuff like that?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, and then with the Flight of the Defender, it was like a grown up season 1, episode 3, Fight or Flight, or was it? Yeah, it was 3.
Yeah, is that
The
the
one
one
with
where
Gal Travis.
Gal Travis was in Empire Day? He was in it. Well, he was in a few episodes, but yeah, Empire Day was one that really featured Gal Travis. And Em, you were saying Fight or Flight. That was the one where Ezra and Zeb steal the
Yeah,
TIE fighter, right?
just the TIE fighter, and now we see Sabine and Ezra steal a TIE Defender. They've, needless to say, they've upped their ballpark.
Yeah, yeah, they've revisited episodes. I don't want to say they've rehashed episodes, but they kind of revisit the same places, same factories, same planets, same sewer systems kind of thing, but the stakes are noticeably higher.
As I said, this is what how a rebellion starts small with a few people leading it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
We-
powerful.
we-
That's
we-
super powerful. And it's
Yeah.
them, man. It's the Ghost Crew, man. That's why there's this show about them.
All right, let's jump ahead into the Flight of the Defender. I know we've kind of been skipping around, but now really into Flight of the Defender. All right, Em, I'll give it to you this time. What were your really quick first initial thoughts?
Just blown away, completely blown away. There was enough humor and there was enough high stakes. There was the mystical boundaries of the Force and what Lothal is capable of, and the animals are interconnected with the planet. I'm also, I was also reading up on some articles on how an animal can sense whether or not you are bad or a good person. And I think they knew that the Empire was bad from the start. And now, since they have Ezra there, they are willing to push back.
Well, isn't it
'Cause-
odd? These Lothcats understand complex English sentences now. They need a
I know.
diversion. I thought, and this will sound like I'm banging on the episode, and I'm really not. But there was a few things in these two episodes where I'm like, really? Like the Lothcats understanding that Sabine and Ezra need a diversion. So off go the Lothcats to create a diversion.
I
It
think-
was so cute, though.
I think it's
Oh
the
my
white
God.
Lothcat, though, that understands. He seems to be a little more sentient than the others.
Well, was the white Lothcat there? I think it was just two of the regular striped ones.
It was just regular leopard printed ones, and I
But it's
can't
not-
believe it was Dave and Steve voicing those troopers, and I
Yeah.
couldn't believe they shot at those cats. I really shame on them both. You don't shoot at. I know that it was only playful and to see if they fly.
Well,
Like-
that's one of the things. Like they need certain things to happen. So let's have the Lothcats be that lever to make these things happen. So for two stormtroopers to wander way off base, like,
Over two cats,
over
it
two
was
cats,
silly, but
it's stupid. It's honestly stupid. If we're gonna break down an episode, we got to look at that and go, that's dumb. But
Yeah,
whatever.
especially the TIE Defender at stake. That was probably that's the weirdest part of the episode. But the Lothcats understanding Ezra, that's not that much of a stretch for me. Like I feel like he has a connection to a lot of animals, but especially these being of his home planet and stuff. Like I get you. Like they don't. It's hard to imagine they can understand English word for word, but like to get a sense of, I don't know,
what
like
Ezra needs,
yeah,
the animals will do it.
yeah, something like that.
I guess it's just your tolerance for that type of thing is higher than mine. Like I certain like
He's
certain
such a
things.
pessimist.
No, I just like I
Corey,
need some things
he's
to make
such a
a little
pessimist.
more sense.
No, he's like he is a bit of a pessimist, but at the same time, he's a
Hey, now.
stickler for he's a stickler for things that need to, like you said, he wants things to really make sense and fall into what they've already written themselves into, stuff like that. Like things need
No,
to
I
be
just don't
cohesive.
like. I'm not a huge fan of because reasons. We need things to happen quickly, so the Lothcats now understanding English. Like come on.
Well, I just think we know from Ezra's background that he has enough of a connection with animals that And again, it
Yeah.
being its own planet, that I can roll with it from that regard. But
All right. I mean,
Any-
again, like in the end, I'll jump to the end. I gave this episode like a solid 8.5 on 10. So I'm not. It's not like I'm saying this episode was awful. It was really good. But
of course, yeah, like I know what you mean. It's just a small little nitpick, but I'm on the same page as them here in the sense that, oh man, this was Star Wars. Like when you really think of Star Wars, this had it for me, like right from the get go, man. Again, like just the mysticism behind this episode, and like what they did in this episode too is really relevant. Like man, this crew is amazing, and I don't know, man. This episode really.
It really brought out some much needed emotion to see how much, even Kanan trying to kiss Hera, we really need to see those emotions come out.
But they still haven't. They were cut off.
we
We're
still there's still no payout for that. We keep
Yeah,
investing
And there's going to
in
be
that
another
moment, and-
cutoff. Just letting you know, there's going to be another cutoff. Well, I've spoiled myself a bit watching some expo footage, so.
I'm sure there'll be a payout moment, but it's something that's not meant to
Oh,
last.
I'm pretty sure they'll kiss before, or during mid-season finale, because remember
Before Kanan dies, right?
No, listen, just drunk uncle, shush. Anyway, like the mid-season, or sorry, during the mid-season maybe, but that one trailer is meant for just that first half of
yeah, there's
the first half, so
the back half
there-
of the season we haven't seen squat yet. So
you know what, and we still really don't know what we're in for.
I
Oh,
find
no.
that very interesting too, man, because like from what we got in the trailers, I was like, man, this has to like lead right up until the end with the wolves and all that stuff. But I said this to myself last night too. It's like everything we've seen in both trailers really seemed to lead into these episodes, apart from the X-wings.
well, yeah, that's what we Corey, when you and I first saw the trailer way back when, like, that's one of the things we discussed. Like this is probably the first 5, 6, 7 episodes, like the first half season. And I think they followed that template for season 3. Like the trailer we got really only summed up a few episodes. Like the back half was stuff that was untouched until we got like the mid-season trailer, which is going to be, I mean, we're going to get that in February or so, maybe March. That's
We'd
gonna be heavy.
lucky. Well, you see, I think we get 2 more episodes next week, and then we get 1 more for that week, and then we're on break. And that's going to be quite a wait. That's going to be torture at its finest. If you thought 8 months waiting for season 4 was hard, try waiting 2 months waiting for. We're so close to the ending. We're so
well,
close.
yeah, but we got this thing called The Last Jedi in between to keep us busy.
But there's no DVD. You can't take it home.
You could just keep going back to the theater.
Yeah, and spend what, $100? Just keep on going in. Because where I am, it costs $8. So
Yeah, just keep on sneaking in there.
no, I'm not going to relive my father's moments. No. Just
What about I want to ask you guys something about this episode. Who was in charge of in this little band when they first get to, they're spying on the TIE Defender and whatnot? Who's in charge out of the 4 of them? There's Ryder, there's Zeb, there's Sabine, and there's Ezra.
I don't think there's a leader.
Well, it's
I think
hard to
they're just a
say.
cohesive unit. I mean, Hera was the leader, even though she wasn't there. Remember, she said, "Come back to Rebel Base when nightfall hits."
Well, I have to say 2 things. I think it's really Ezra because first of all, Hera communicates directly with him, and it's kind of odd. She calls him Spectre 6. He signs off as Phoenix 6, which I found kind of odd.
That was
But-
odd. I found that odd too.
Ezra's pretty much the one making the final call when Sabine puts forth her plan of saying, "Hey, we need to get the Navi computer out of this thing." Ezra's the one that says, "Yes, we're doing it," and everyone else kind of says, "Okay, we don't have
Well,
a choice
he's-
at this point."
I don't know if Sabine officially has a rank within the rebellion, whereas Ezra does. I don't know if Zeb officially has a rank within the rebellion. Ezra does, and Ryder is kind of their tour guide. I mean, he can interject and object or recommend a different course of action. But ultimately, I think you're right, Corey. I think Ezra is the boss.
He
Amazing.
even tells him at one point too to take off.
Zeb is a security officer, guys. Don't count that out.
Yeah,
Even though
it's hard to say. I mean, yeah, I think Ezra, by rank is the boss, but like you said it, they're kind of a group. They kind of make group decisions, and somebody like Ezra has to make the final call. So, yeah, Sabine comes
yeah,
up with
but
this crazy idea.
Zeb was so upset with himself when he's like, I knew that they'd pull a stunt like this, and then Kanan's trying to reassure him, it's not your fault, Zeb. It's not your fault.
Well, yeah, they know by now that Ezra and Sabine are going to, especially Ezra, is going to go off and do his own thing.
Well, yeah, he's all that age, and back in season 3, Dave had to cut out that one scene where they were talking about how Sabine and Ezra have now grown up, and they're going to make their own choices.
Absolutely.
Kids need to leave the nest sometimes to, find out who they are and what they need to do with their own lives.
This is true. So what do we make of this TIE Defender? This is sort of the TIE Defender Elite, right? As they were calling it. Maybe even a more upgraded version than the one we've seen before. Like this thing is loaded.
It's definitely the second version. I was watching Rebels Recon, and they mentioned that it's a second better version. And oh my goodness, you know what? If they didn't pour so much money into that Death Star, they got a point. That if they put more money into the TIE Defenders, they would have won that war. Because you know how they're traveling at fast speeds. They have upgraded shields, upgraded weaponry, Navi computer, hyperdrive.
So the only problem is they have, yes, I mean, this was an amazing piece of equipment, but the pilots are all crap.
Oh, yeah. Except Scarus. I will give credit to Scarus. He is a good pilot.
They just, yeah, I mean, even if they had churned out tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of TIE Defenders, maybe they would have won, but I don't think they would have taken full advantage of the skill set of the TIE Defender, because there's the pilots that the Empire has at its disposal, they're just too dumb. They're just not good enough.
And I love how, when Ezra is flying the way he is and Thrawn's monitoring that, I gotta give him respect to the fact that he knows how good Hera is.
Well, it took him a while to figure it out, right? Like he figured, well, no, that's not Hera flying, because our TIE fighters would have been shot down by now. Then he said it was, he figured it was Ezra, right? But it took him a while to figure out that it was probably Sabine, because she disabled the kill switch too quickly, or no, the tracking beacon.
Transponder.
Yeah, the transponder. She diffused that way too quickly, and then that's what tipped Thrawn off to say, nope, that's the Mandalorian.
Activate kill switch. Oh no, that was the first time we hear Sabine really lose it, kind of in a situation like that. No.
She realized she was too efficient.
Yeah.
So okay, let's back up 2 seconds here. Why was when Sabine and Ezra took off with the TIE Defender, why would Thrawn stand there shooting his little tiny pistol at it? Like, what do you think you're gonna do?
I thought he's just, it's Thrawn being Thrawn, being like, oh,
I'm a badass. Let's just.
No, I thought he was gonna shoot this one piece of the ship that's gonna make
vulnerable.
it. Yeah.
Like, that was pretty silly. I mean, here they are tearing up this little flight deck, shooting up all the TIE fighters, and Thrawn just standing there, pew pew pew. Like, dude, move.
And Scarus yelled at him, Grand Admiral, move. Yeah, you're right.
I love that they made Scarus almost a direct copy of Viper from Top Gun. I love that. And that may have gone way over your head. I don't know.
The movie sounds
it's a movie that came out like 12
really
years
does.
before you were even born, so
yeah, I know, but I have watched some 80s and 90s films.
Those ancient relics, right?
Yeah, but you know what? You gotta respect the old movies, because without the old movies, they wouldn't have been inspiration for the current directors of the really nice movies these days.
Exactly. I was just about to say, go back and watch Top Gun and tell me they didn't take any inspiration from Top Gun for this episode. In particular, there's the TIE Defender, how it sort of stops in midair, and the two TIE interceptors
hard brakes. He's a Maverick, total wild card.
Well, that's
my
like
heart
the
dropped
MiG fighter. The MiG fighter does that in Top Gun. And that's when Maverick
Okay,
goes
well,
like,
I'll have to give it a watch. But you know, even when he dropped, like he pulled off, um, you know, like he's flying, and then all of a sudden, boom, he doesn't fly. He just falls back and lets the other TIE, they're not TIE fighters. They're TIE interceptors. Yeah, interceptors. And I was like, whoa. And I was thinking of the time I was on a roller coaster, and I remember some of the time where, you know, you're going up the roller coaster and like, oh, breathe, breathe, breathe. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, that was a great sequence. I mean, they're getting really good with these chase sequences. Last week with the ghost in the foggy canyons of Jilindi Base or whatever it was called.
Dilinji, yeah.
Whatever it was called. And this week here on Lothal, they're getting really good with this stuff, and it never gets old.
No.
But this is where things get really good in this episode, or mystical, as Corey seems to be obsessed with.
Yes. Are you kidding? I'm obsessed with it. I love this mystery. I love that little discussion that we had about, well, we won't get into that yet.
Well,
we'll keep it under wraps.
The white Lothcat has been sort of hanging around. The white wolf has been sort of popping up here and there. Is it real, or is it just a vision that Ezra was having? We weren't sure up until that point. But now we know.
This white Lothcat is so very vital in the most important ways of Ezra's Force guidance. He comes up at the most important times, like his parents' death, and now this. So
it's been a theme since the beginning of this show. Like Dave Filoni's been saying it for so long. Follow the white Lothcat. You know, it's awesome. It's like an Alice in Wonderland kind of thing for me.
Yeah, White Rabbit.
Yeah,
White Rabbit.
That's probably exactly what it is. And that leads us right
super
up
cool
to the actual reveal, the up close reveal anyway of the Lothwolf. Now, Corey, I know you've just been dying for this.
Yeah, I want to hear Corey's. I've got a couple things to say, but I want to hear Corey's side first.
I don't know. There's just so much going on. I don't know what to make of this Lothwolf. I find it kind of odd that they said they hadn't been on Lothal for like 100 years. That's kind of new. I like that Ezra was the only one who's seen him so far, or her. We definitely get the sense that they're powerful, omnipotent kind of beings, kind of like the way that it put Sabine to sleep, the way it sits, kind of all-knowing. It's definitely connected to Lothal and connected deeply to Ezra. So I don't know what's really going on there, but a little bit of research into mythology and white wolves suggested something along the lines of the white wolves exist in both the physical and spiritual realms and help bridge the gap between the two. Bridger, there's something going on there, man.
Well, definitely. I mean, the fact that Ezra can see this thing, but nobody else can. You know, Ezra maybe has this ability to see across different planes of existence. Who knows? It's getting really weird up in here, though.
Well, I'm starting to think maybe the wolves let themselves be known to other people, because if you saw today the Kindred, I think it was Kindred clip, everyone noticed this time the white Lothwolves. So I think they're extremely powerful creatures within Lothal, but now that begs me to wonder, so Ezra and Sabine had this little conversation about him spotting the Lothwolf, but then she was talking about the cave paintings. How does she know about them? So something tells me Ezra's talked to her about his culture and what wolves represent.
The episode where they go to the temples, they're there.
Yeah.
So he definitely probably talked to her about it.
And then that one little sentence that wolf said, doom. Oh.
Hey, wait.
Keep it together.
Did you? What did you think of that? Because Kyle had asked me about that this morning, and I'd watched it at like midnight last night, and I just thought it was kind of like this message where it was, whatever. And then he was like, "Think about it, man.
Oh, I've been thinking about it all right. Doom, Doom.
Well, I
Oh my
expected
God.
I expected Corey to text me and be like, "Oh, dude, I can't believe the wolf said doom. Oh my God, what does that mean?" Instead, this morning I'm like, "Did you even watch it?" And he's like, "Yeah." I mean, do you know what he said? And you were very evasive this morning.
Well,
Yeah.
you give a man some space to think. You just don't
Well,
let
it's like
that beautiful mind get it.
well, it's like again, I saw it at midnight, and like whatever. Like I was planning on watching it again today, but I might not have got another chance. And I ended up going on YouTube after and watching it right away. But what does it mean to you, or what can it suggest?
Please say Canaan. Maybe
There you
some.
go.
Actually, I had this thought where, um, you know, there, Canaan's Dilipa Balaba, I think her name was, right?
Yep.
Maybe she's got something to do with those wolves. And then I think as wolves, like a way, they're like warriors almost. So what if the wolves were connected in a way where they were fallen knights and warriors? And I was also thinking about Ezra's parents and how they were warriors with their voice. They weren't physically warriors, but they fought the Empire in a way, the best that they could. So what if they have something to do with wolves too? We all know, I think, definitely Ahsoka's connected to this. In an indirect way, she definitely is connected to this. But I think there is more to this mystery, and this is what I really love. I mean, I guess this, besides Ezra's parents and Ahsoka's mystery, and then Lothal's, what does the Empire want with Lothal's mystery? This is like the real mystery where it's really just, it's grasping us and we want answers, but we can only get so much at one time.
Well, no doubt. But one of the things that you had to be careful of when watching this scene play out, and the Loth Wolf said, what did Ezra ask the wolf?
Why did you save us? Why did you help us?
Yep.
And it says doom.
But it could be it could be DOOM in the sense that
well, that's it, because I think that's what most people interpret. If you just listen to it and it says doom, like, oh, you're trying to save us from doom, okay. But I always we watch TV by default with subtitles on because the kids are always screaming their guts out and we can never hear what's going on. So my first exposure to it was hearing doom but seeing the subtitle DUME.
Oh, bro, that's awesome. So it's confirmed then.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you put subtitles on, it's DUME.
Yes, it is.
So the only thing going through my head, and I was discussing with a pal through DMs, the only thing in my head is the word could be almost like a double entendre where it's doom for doom. But it makes that in itself as the answer to Ezra's question doesn't quite make sense unless the wolf was not answering his question but just telling him something else entirely.
Mm.
I don't know how this is going to play out, but maybe Ezra tells Kanan at some point. The Loth Wolf keeps telling me doom. Does that mean anything to you, Kanan? Maybe it ends up being like a wedge between the two where maybe Ezra learns of Kanan's real identity at some point, and
Hey, you drew it in the sand with me. DUME. Kind of odd, no?
We're going to see more wolves anyway, but it's kind of weird how that wolf also just stood there watching them walk away. What if someone or something is watching through the wolf's eyes and looking, and the wolf looked proud too.
the wolf looks like it knows what's going on.
Oh,
Definitely.
definitely looks
Like-
all-knowing, yeah.
I mean, but beyond what's going on in the moment, it looks almost as if it knows what's going to happen,
Yeah,
which makes it
I
almost
agree with you.
which puts it in line with a Bendu type thing.
yep.
Well, Dave did say it was somewhat like a Bendu, right? So, oh man, there's so much exciting things coming on, and I'm really excited about next week. I mean, I always keep saying that until, of course, the ending. I don't want the ending to come, but like next week, I think we're gonna get more answers when it comes to these wolves.
Oh yeah, we saw the preview where Ezra kind of wanders into their lair, right?
We see that, and we see the dark side. Like it almost looked like dark side eyes on three wolves. and then there's a black wolf. What if the wolves are drawn to Ezra? Because if they haven't really seen it in 100 years, it was before even the Empire presence. So what if Ezra's not per se the chosen one, but the one to actually liberate Lothal?
That would make a nice story for him. That probably makes a whole lot of sense.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I think that's the plan for this.
My figment of imagination, I hope that he walks down the streets of Lothal. Everyone just calls him the Wolf of Lothal, the Wolf of Lothal. Wouldn't that be so? I just can picture it.
Or imagine this, Em. They'll always remember him as the Wolf of Lothal.
I know. Yes. Thank you. Someone's helping my vision.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about like once he's no longer with us.
Well, yes, but legends never die.
Exactly, and definitely like that's what I told you guys. This is a bit of a bomb I laid on you guys Friday night, but I was saying that the cave paintings and all that stuff, like if you really look at them, they seriously like it looks spelled out for you that they're constellations in the stars. Like to me,
Yeah.
like, that's what it really looks like. So
You
it
almost
could be
brought,
really beautiful
you
at
brought
that
tears to
point.
my eyes. You brought tears to my eyes. Like
You're gonna see constellation Lothwolf Ezra.
like him sitting on a wolf and holding his lightsaber in the constellation. That would be so epic.
As Sabine sheds a tear.
Oh, don't you dare!
My love.
Hey, so did if Sabine can't see the Lothwolf, why did it put her to sleep?
I think it can see her. I just think that the
No, he
fact
can
that
see her. Can she see him?
I think she can see him as well, but the fact that he breathed on her like that, like it just kind of was like a memory wipe, kind of, like she's like, I don't know what happened from here to here, but I'm here now.
Well,
How did
I
he do
buy
that?
I buy that, but wasn't there like at the end when everybody was sort of standing there looking, and there's the wolf in the background? Oh wait, you guys can't see the wolf?
Well, it wasn't there. No, it's because Ezra turned his. It's like he pulled a Batman, the wolf. Like he turned around for a second, like wait, don't you? Oh, sneaky bugger, he's gone. It was mysterious, granted, but I mean, it was definitely there in physical form.
All right, guys, let's bring this to a close. But before we do, I wanted to. What do we make of Thrawn's plan here? I mean, there's
No,
we've had
I want to know what. Like, remember Minister Tua?
oh poor Maketh Tua, who can forget?
And she was going to tell the reason why the Empire confiscated Lothal. We never got that answer. And I don't think it's because the Jedi temples. There's got to be some reason why they want Lothal so bad. And what if it's a forced aspect of things?
I've seen that. I don't think the Empire knows anything about that, and I think that's going to be the eventual case for Ezra and Kanan to discover. Like, there's a lot more going on, Lothal, that they need to save and or protect. But yeah, I think Thrawn's perspective here is just he's all about the TIE Defender, and it's like he was super impressed with it. Like he totally bashed on Ezra, like you said earlier, and saying that Ezra was such a shitty pilot because it was Hera. Everyone would be dead 10 minutes ago. But the fact that he did so well against 3 different pilots in interceptors, not even regular TIEs, this ship is amazing. And I'm gonna give myself half points here because Kyle asked me for predictions based on the trailer on the Tumbling Saber. And what I was under the impression is what they were gonna do is they were gonna steal the entire ship, which they did, but they ended up the kill switch went off. But they got the information necessary for them to not necessarily reverse engineer the ship, but to build and or create a response to it. Hence the X-wing. Like the information.
How did the X-wings come into play, though? Right?
Well, I think it's a response to the TIE Defender. Like they're gonna get these.
Well,
they're gonna
I
get
think
the
X-Wings
information
already exist. Just the rebellion doesn't have it yet.
Well, I think they might be able to upgrade these things with the specs that they're gonna bring back from what Sabine and Ezra stole. They're gonna be able to look at this thing and say, "Holy crap! This is what we need to take a ship of this magnitude down."
That's very possible. That is certainly still on the table of possibilities.
But at least they did that. They stole the ship and they took the information regarding it, and it's going back to the rebellion. So that was At least half marks there. They didn't take the whole ship.
They did their damnedest, though, Corey. They did their damnedest. Damn it.
Yeah, Ezra landing on that one wing was pretty special.
All right. So again, back on Thrawn, because we don't know what he's doing here. I mean, we know he's sort of all about his TIE factory, but he's been very quiet so far. Well, we're six episodes in, and there's not been a whole lot of Thrawn. So what is he up to? Is there nothing left to do with Thrawn other than let him play out his TIE Defender program, or is he cooking up something bigger?
He's sending Rook in.
Yeah, Rook is coming back next week.
And then Vader's going to be back in the second half of the season?
Don't you dare. Because I know what that means if Vader comes back. Don't you dare. You know what? I'm tired of hearing Vader coming back. Seriously.
I don't think he is. I don't.
But you know what? Dave also said that he's kind of let Vader play his role, like the Inquisitor season 1, Vader season 2, and Thrawn now season 3 and 4.
Yeah, Vader has no place in this.
But we've heard Filoni say that there's a big baddie surprise. We talked about it last week, no?
Yeah. Someone maybe he was coy, like he's always coy. There may be somebody lurking in the shadows, kind of thing. And
what kind of who? I don't know. We kind of know it's not Vader. We know it's not Bossk. So who?
I say it's Vader still. I'm still convinced the fact that book's coming out from Timothy Zahn with Thrawn and Vader alliances. I'm pretty sure we can touch upon Vader here.
Well, obviously he's obviously a choice. I don't like the choice of words. I mean, I don't expect Dave Filoni to be always 100% accurate with his choice of words, but Vader doesn't hide. He's not a skulker in the background. He doesn't hide in the weeds. Like when he wants to get something done, he just flies right into the heart of the action and takes care of business.
Yeah, well, you didn't say anything otherwise. Like, it's not like Filoni said, like, someone's gonna come out of the shadows and, like, for sure, like, that's probably why he's like, Thrawn, what's going on here? Like, I want this shit to get done. Like, do I need to get involved? Whatever it is, like, one episode, these 2 Jedi are still kicking around. I'm finishing this once and for all. Whatever it is,
Vader's not one to hide. If he was going to hide, then, he would still be a Jedi. Jedi are in hiding, not Sith.
That's pretty much accurate.
I don't see Thrawn's endgame. I think he just wants to finish the presents and move on to another project. Well, then again...
Have you heard this, Sam? I heard this. Nothing's canonized here yet, but Timothy Zahn, the creator of Thrawn, at some convention or something, he was talking about how Thrawn he aligned himself with the Empire because he thought they were going to win the war. And his main reason for that was because after everything he studied in culture and all that stuff, he knows and feels that there's something within the unknown regions of space that is going to come and like mess shit up. So he wants to align himself with the powerhouse of the galaxy, kind of.
That sounds like Palpatine too. I can see a clash going on between them. But you see Thrawn also giving Price orders. I don't see the other way around where, Price invited Thrawn to come help her out with the rebel situation. But no, he's coming under complete control of Lothal.
For sure, he's the Grand Admiral.
Yeah. And then she's a governor. Wouldn't you classify them to same ranks?
No.
Even though she's a governor?
Grand Admiral, like, you're right up there, man.
But governor, you are right up there, too.
Not really. I mean, I would consider senator above governor.
No, I consider governor over senator.
Because governor is popular, like, doing the people, and, like, the senator is the one that's really dealing with the bureaucracy and the federal aspect,
well,
I guess.
Think under the Empire, senators have been kind of neutered. Whereas Governor Tarkin was pretty much the top of the food chain.
Yeah, but Governor Tarkin, he's
Grand Moff.
He's a Grand Moff. He just prefers the term governor because it suited him when he was a governor. Like, he liked to keep that term from back in the day, but he's a Grand Moff. Like, he's just above... I think there's how many Grand Admirals? There's only like 7 or something in the Imperial fleet, if I'm not mistaken, something like that.
Thrawn, though, I guess rose to the ranks really quick, right? Because he was an admiral, and then all of a sudden he was a grand admiral as he walked into season 3.
He did something the Empire liked.
Well, I guess they needed someone who had brains, and Thrawn was the one who has brains. Take a look at, some of the Imperial officers have dropped like flies recently. So we got Constantine gone, Slavin gone, Titus gone. It's like the dominoes are falling. No pun intended there for any Clone War fans out there. So let's go through the listener comments, huh?
Yeah, okay. If we have a few of those, let's do those quickly.
So I was talking with Amy now and again, and I want to quickly shout this out because I listened to this earlier today. They've started a Padme podcast, but they call it Podme.
Podme, yeah, I saw that.
It's actually really good. I really like how we got 5 ladies who come in and talk about Padme, and they got a point where she is underrated. But anyway, this is her thought. The stage is being set for a Mortis-type mythology expanding revelation. She's got a point there. This does feel like a Mortis-type arc coming into play.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
We got, again, AC Dragon Riders with his comment. Love the detail they're putting into how the Imperial occupation is and has changed. Also, really loves the serialized episodes that are now how everything is happening and affecting the characters, especially Ezra, and the mentioning of Saw. And Ezra almost has a point when he says Saw is right. He's pretty close. Saw does, as much as I don't agree with Saw, he might have a point there.
Yeah, to a certain degree, it's all relative, right? But
yeah, the conclusions he draws are right. Just the means he goes about to achieve his ends are very questionable.
Yeah. We got Dontrell again. Loved how Ezra saw the wolf through the force and no one else couldn't. And like I said, maybe it's come to a point where only Jedi can see him through the force, or the wolves just, let them be known to, whoever they please. And we got our last comment from Danny Patrick from a Facebook group called I'm Addicted to Star Wars. That's what it's called. I enjoyed them both. Very curious on how they're going to end it all.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. We really still have no idea what.
Again, we want, like, if you were served up all 16 episodes right now, would you be super happy about that, or do you prefer what we're getting? So this will go on right into like early spring. Which version do you prefer?
As Lynn said, she's also part of the Padme podcast. She said that she wants to savor it, not devour it. And I completely agree with her.
Yeah,
I want to savor it.
The waits in between are tough, but yeah, I mean, what's the rush, right?
I agree.
All right. Guys, we're done with Bridge of Transmission number 4.
We're really beaming out and putting the hate on the Empire. Love it. I am so Rebel scum. I love it. Really do.
Yeah, this season so far has just been so tight.
Phenomenal, man. Like, we are getting our bang for our buck watching this show. Like, I just can't understand a Star Wars fan not liking this show, to be honest. Like, I can't wait to see what the show has in store for us when it's all wrapped up, said and done. Totally believe in Filoni, what he's going to do with it. And again, when I look at it from the child that he was to the young man he's becoming, I am loving it, man.
I just miss that old kid that was so playful. Now he's, full on crush the Empire. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, it's a loss of innocence, man. He's been through a heck of a lot.
It's been a heck of a roller coaster for Ezra over what, maybe a 3 or 4 year period.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's actually some gap between there was a 6 month gap between 2 and 3, but I think there's got to be at least 1 or 2 year gap maybe between 1 and 2.
Well, we figure now he's about 18 years old. We figure we're a year out from A New Hope.
Luke was in his early 20s.
Well, Luke was
Luke
19.
and Leia.
They were 19 in A New Hope, and Ezra's like 2 days older.
Yeah.
So
So my age.
yeah,
So
Can you imagine?
Ezra's probably like 18, yeah, right now.
Ezra's about 18, and how old was he when they picked him up? 14?
14.
15?
Almost 14. Almost 14.
Yeah.
But no, sorry. Like Empire Day 15 years ago.
On that note, thanks everybody for listening to Bridger Transmissions number 4. We're going to end the show right here. So, Corey, thanks guys. Where can people find you on Twitter?
At emallam52. EMALLAM52.
There you go.
And don't forget to follow the Loftcat. I won't steal Dave's little hashtag. I won't put white in there. Follow Kinder's daily journeys and daily activities. I put one photo up there, and I want to hear your thoughts, and I want to see those likes. I think it's starting to finally catch on.
Yeah, and also M set up a Facebook page for Bridger Transmissions, so if you want to come and discuss Rebels in a place that is filled with Rebels fans, and you can just say whatever you want about Rebels and not worry about spoilers, then look up the Bridger Transmissions Facebook page, which is quickly gathering steam. So hit that up, and we'll meet you there. Corey, where can people find you on the Twitter?
Come on, man. Find me at Chop Rules with a Z.
You go, bro. You go.
I almost forgot. And I am at Tumbling Saber, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Come say hello. And we'll say hello to you again in episode 100. 100, Corey, is coming right up. And for Powerful Friends this coming Friday, well, it should be Journals of the Willing. Nothing is planned for that yet, but hey, the week is young. So stay tuned to this channel, and we'll catch you guys again later.
And as always, may the Force be with you.